This week on C Plus News Time, with regular television on the decline, viewing habits wavering and audiences waning from cable to streaming networks, TV as we used to know it looks to be in complete disarray. Now every channel has its own app, and social networks are getting their greasy mitts in there too. Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube are among the big hitters trying to become part of your Roku ecosystem, or your Xbox, PlayStation, and various other platforms like the Apple TV. And hey, they're getting into this TV game too. It'd be easier to say who wasn't at this point, like C Plus Comedy. Oh shoot, we gotta get one of them sweet apps. I don't know how to code, yet C Plus is a coding thing, tangentially. We're so close. While I get my coding going, watch as we get into social TV, only on News Time. Okay, Googling how to code. Alright, it autocorrected to, do babies come from the clitoris? Also, where can I find that? That's it. Who's been using my personal phone that can only be unlocked with my fingerprint?
It's C Plus News Time, delivering to you the news you didn't know about, the news you didn't care about, and the news you didn't know you cared about. With host, Chad White. Now, here's that host, Chad White.
Get ready to see my new Steam exclusive show, Game Guy, where I play one Game Gear game, Hook, based on the lukewarm received 1992 movie of the same name. Dang it! Welcome back to C Plus News Time. I'm your host, Chad White. This is the comedy news you didn't know about for the week of August 21st, 2017. Television used to be simple. There were 3 channels and only a handful of shows that weren't the news. Luckily, the medium expanded into a wondrous place where housewives have fake fights and cooking networks have multiple food-adjacent competition shows. Recently, within the past 5 years, audiences grew tired of the expensive cable packages that come with hundreds of channels they'll never watch anyway. This is when streamers swooped in to snatch up viewers. But now, everything is a streaming network. Facebook, Apple, and YouTube are 3 of the new contenders that will go up against the likes of Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon, who are already contending with cable. Each one has a substantial purchase or 10 when it comes to TV shows. Money is no object for the 3 biggest companies in the world. Let's look at them one by one to see exactly what they're doing to capture your attention. Up first is YouTube Red, the service that's been doing this internet TV thing the longest out of the 3 new contenders. It launched late October 2015 after being initially tapped as Music Key, a 2014 music video service for artists who put their songs out on Google Play Music. The 2 were different, but ultimately the same with their ad-free offerings. However, the rebranding would change everything. Tubers like PewDiePie and Rhett and Link would be offered their own series. Documentaries and reality shows premiered. Movies from the same stars would make their way onto the service too. Soon, the service would be rolled into the Google Play Music subscription and vice versa. That means for $10 a month, users can listen to pretty much any song or watch any video they want ad-free, along with the ability to save videos offline. Can we just take a moment to bask in that? The same thing goes for any streaming service, music or video based. If you've never had to deal with LimeWire, then you don't know how good you have it. $10 gets you all of this? Crazy, right? Contrary to their past motives, Google actually believes in this venture. In fact, it's probably one of the only ones they actually still do care for. Yes, this is a direct shot at Allo, Duo, Hangouts, Nexus phones, and all other projects that they began and stopped abruptly. Earlier this month, 2 new execs joined the Red team. John Wax from WGN and Angela Corton from Fox Broadcasting will now be development and marketing execs respectively. Wax is focusing on drama, scripted, and current shows, while Corton is dealing with originals marketing and being the global head of the outfit. Google is so serious about Red that it even got the network into this summer's Television Critics Association conferences. There, they announced several new shows that have nothing to do with their regular tuber focus. A 10-episode straight-to-series half-hour comedy spin-off of the Karate Kid movies is on the way in 2018. Cobra Kai follows Johnny, the blonde asshole, as he reopens the dojo 30 years after his loss in the All-Valley Karate Tournament. His rivalry with Daniel is then started again. Harold and Kumar duo John Hurwitz and Hayden Schlossberg are behind the show with the help of Hot Tub Time Machine man Josh Heald. This is big news, not because it's yet another show that'll tug at your ever-sensitive, nostalgia-laced heartstrings, but the offers from other networks that came with it. Netflix, AMC, Hulu, and Amazon were said to have been in the room where it happened. Brr, no one ever invites me there. More in the Karate Kid-averse isn't the only thing Bread is bringing to the table. Shows from the sexy Step Up series, Ryan Hansen, Dan Harmon, Toby Turner, and Rob Hubel are also on the way. While YouTube has had time to bolster its roster, Facebook may have the biggest reach out of all three. This past June, Facebook was reported to have 2 billion monthly users. I wonder how many of them are named on Flow. I also want to announce this is the last episode of News Time because of that joke. Back on point, Facebook is trying to become the one-stop shop for all things. It wants to be a home page/search engine. It wants you to connect with that girl from your middle school who you noticed glowed up over the past 10 years, going from brace face to hot date, and you're trying to holler at her. And it wants you to watch videos on it. Earlier this month, the social site debuted a tab for its apps called Watch, where users can view videos from the MLB, Time, A&E, and others. What's more, Facebook has also partnered with huge production companies in order to create shows. That's right, 30 big names are going to make sure you stay logged in for hours on end. And don't worry about having to watch this on your tiny plus-size phone either. The Watch tab will be made available on desktop and TV apps at a later date. Also, Facebook apparently has TV apps. These new shows will range from scripted comedy half hours to live baseball games. Nicole Byer's too-soon-canceled MTV show was rightfully revived this past June for the site. Fucking MTV and your Jersey Shores. You think you're so smart for bringing back Total Request Live? You're barely relevant. That being said, I'd love if you guys gave me a show. Okay, thanks. Bye. Other new shows include a workplace comedy from Russell Simmons' all-deaf digital studio called Inside the Office about said all-deaf digital studio. Condé Nast apparently wants to do a show called Virtually Dating, which pits datees in a VR world for dating purposes. A WNBA all-access series and way more are also scheduled. Facebook leads the competition with one aspect: it's free. Both Red and Apple Music cost $10 whole a month. While Facebook is much more social, the other two offer a larger catalog. So Facebook is setting itself up to be all things it can possibly be. But Apple Music is taking a bit more nuanced approach to the TV game. I'm sure you've already heard the news. Apple set aside a cool $1 billion for its show and movie budget. Oh, and that bill stands for billion. No big deal. Don't worry about them. As of August 2017, their books put them at $261.5 billion in cash. This is literally nothing to them. Out of all three companies, Apple might have the most liquid, which is why they can pull off moves like this. If they want to throw a few $100s my way, News Time could look a lot better than this. Yeah, I valued myself at a few $100. I'd go higher, but I'm not worth it. I need some L'Oreal.
Because I'm worth it.
So Apple set aside all that money for a budget. Big whoop. Big whoop indeed. The service has already started putting out shows, including that Apple Music spinoff of the Late Late Show's Carpool Karaoke segment. Then there's the aptly titled Planet of the Apps reality show, and yeah, I hate myself for saying that too. The company also has already tasked presidents of Sony Pictures Television Zach Van Amberg and Jamie Ehrlich as the head of the Apple initiative. Their reputation precedes them, as they've worked on any number of your totes fave shows like Breaking Bad and The Goldbergs. Apple then hired Matt Chernis to become the big boss alongside those other two guys. This comes a month and change after he quit being WGN's GM and president. And finally, there's Eddie Q, who's been with Apple since '89. He'll head the original entertainment venture on top of his regular iTunes, Music, Pay, Siri, Maps, and iCloud responsibilities. And I thought I was busy enough with 2 jobs and a shitty website. No matter the case, Google, Facebook, and Apple seem to be serious about this step towards television. They think they can see a chink in the cable and broadcast armor. Those two can't reach many audiences who don't want to pay attention to them. Now, YouTube can get teens to watch their favorite Q-list stars act in their favorite shows, and Facebook can get all your likes, and Apple will make someone have to pry your phone away from you. The television landscape is changing. We're in the forefront of it all. It's a matter of time until one of these new platforms catches your eye. And that's all the news I have for you for this week on C Plus News Time. Why don't you subscribe and check out one of our other videos? Of course, you can always head to the website cpluscomedy.com, where there's so many things that I'm a little bit fool talking about it. You can follow us on Twitter at cpluscomedy, follow me on Twitter at ChadBlackWhite, like us on Facebook, listen to the Constitutionalist podcast, and be sure to also check out my other new show on the Pandora One network. It's just a show about a box.